everybody, welcome back to Rush Roundtable. This is episode 269, the sixth annual women's panel. I'm so excited to be back and hosting. I'm Alana, and joined with me today is our fearless leader, Donna, as well as Kira and Vicky. But before we get started today with our great episode of building 50 songs in honor of R50, episode 2 of many R50 shenanigans we have planned, I did just want to briefly offer condolences as well as commemorate a moment of silence in honor of Danny Peart, who has unfortunately passed away due to brain cancer. Unfortunately, the same brain cancer that also took Neil away from this world too soon. So with us in the comments, share condolences as well if you'd like, and just memories of Danny's poetry and kindness and work as well.
And lift up the family, whatever you believe, if you're religious, not religious, just put positive energy out in the family because they've been through enough. So let them know we love them.
Absolutely. So just taking a moment to recognize him and thanking him for his work and amazing life that he led, as well as the rest of the Peart family. So thank you so much, and on with the episode. Ladies, I have gathered us today to create a playlist of 50 songs.
This sounds very religious. Ladies, we are gathered today.
We are members of a prestigious gathering.
And we're
elite, triumphant.
And we love Rush, so what's not to like?
Absolutely. I encourage everybody to participate in the comments.
Please.
Applaud us only. No negative feedback allowed.
Indeed. Tell us how wonderful we are. Because we're not supposed to exist. I am still getting told that, like, women don't like Rush. And I'm like, hi, woman here. Hi. Any women that like Rush? Yeah.
And then for this order, how this is going to go, we'll start with Donna, go down to Vicky, Kira, and we'll end with me to start each round. We'll do 3 rounds of 4 and then finish off together. So Donna, if you want to kick us off, we'd be honored.
Well, I'm going to start with the garden, okay? Just because. Because how can you not, okay? I know it was the end of their work, but it's also the beginning because it's who they are, okay? So I'm thinking in that way. My number 2 song would be Limelight, just because it was the most radio-friendly, user-friendly. I got more people into Rush with that song. Plus, it has great lyrics. It's about fame. It's about Neil's reaction to fame, okay? My next one's going to be Tom Sawyer, okay? And finally, it's got to be Working Man. Because if it weren't Working Man, we wouldn't be sitting here, okay? So, and I must say, people always ask me, well, how did Neil feel about the fact that they played Working Man at every... He embraced the song. He knew its historical value. And you know what? It's a darn good kick-butt rock and roll song. It still sounds wonderful on the radio. Next.
Beautiful. None of mine were knocked out.
That's why we coordinated this. See, telepathy, it's just an amazing thing. Go get him, Tiger.
All right, so I got 2 knocked out, but that's okay. I got plenty more. I love all Rush.
Hey, come on, it's
from
Rush.
Every era, so it's all good. So number 1 for me, I had to pick my all-time favorite, not only all-time favorite Rush song, but all-time favorite song of all time, Mission.
Ooh.
Because I feel that their mission, gave us all a mission, and it's still giving me a mission in my band. So next for me is Headlong Flight. It describes their journey, I think, through their whole career. And, I kind of wish we could all live it all again. But then Animate, because I love that kick butt intro, and A Farewell to Kings, because it speaks just so widely of history and so many important issues. So that's where I'm at.
Sounds good. Didn't knock out any of mine, so much the better.
Awesome. Over to you,
You
Kara.
got me with Animate.
Great minds think alike, Alana.
Kira.
All right. Well, some of mine were knocked out, but that's okay because there's no wrong answers for this. All right. So no surprise, my first one is The Spirit of Radio. Not only because it's one of the most like recognizable Rush songs, but they've pretty much played it at every single concert since the album came out. So, yeah, I mean, it's the
And it's
beginning
a
of the
wonderful
album.
song, and the music video's awesome. And I know someone who's
Yeah.
in it.
Superstar.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just an all-around really like incredible song. It's one of those songs by Rush. I mean, I love all Rush, but anytime I'm listening to Rush on Spotify shuffled and it comes on, I don't skip it. Never will. Have to pay homage to that song. When I was doing this playlist, I was also thinking of like songs that has like marked really significant periods of Rush. So the other one that I'm gonna pick, going back to the very, very, very beginning, is Garden Road. Because I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
Garden Road helped them break out of doing all the high school dances and into the circuits for the adults, which helped Rush's growth. I mean, obviously, Donna and Working Man were a huge exponential jump for them, but I also wanted to recognize
Absolutely.
Garden Road in those days. I
Oh my
think
God,
it's just as
yes.
important, right, Donna?
Yes. Kira for the win. All right.
Amazing. Great choice.
Okay, I got two more. Another like big historical song and Rush time period. I know it's long, but it's 2112 because how could I not? It was their comeback song. I mean, if there wasn't any 2112, the Rush wouldn't have made it because that was their comeback song and comeback album. So I had to honor it. And then my other sort of historical song marking significance in Rush is One Little Victory because it signifies their return after Neil went through like the absolute like worst hell in his life. So all songs that mark very important periods of Rush in different
Celebrate the
phases.
moment.
That's fantastic.
So
Great
great. Wow.
stories.
Garden Road, man. That's
Yes.
just
Yes.
slam dunk.
Yeah,
Yes.
Garden Road was
Is that a
fantastic.
halo we see around
I
your
know.
head?
So awesome.
Okay, for my first round, I'm going to go with Ghost Rider. I feel like it's lyrically one of the best. It's such a great counterpart, no pun intended, to something like The Garden, as well as just the body of work that Rush has in their later years as well, as opposed, in addition to overall. I'm also going to throw out my wild card just because I know that it's not going to be anyone's immediate list. I'm going to go with Superconductor. Suck It, Ryan Murphy.
I love
Uh,
Superconductor.
I love Superconductor too. Thank you for that lyric graphic post, by the way, the other day.
Love
I saw
that
that and I was like,
song.
Superconductor, yes. My third song for the first round is going to be Anthem because that is just one of those gut punch, right out of the gate, bad out of hell type songs. And that's just kind of the kind of gal I am. And to round out my first round, I'm going to go with BU2B. I love that track. And I think it just, again, is kind of just Rush in a little capsule for me. When I think Rush, I really think that is kind of the full circle jam.
Amazing.
Nicely done.
Yeah, great choices. Just shows you
So,
how
you.
insane their
I feel like we ought
catalog
to have
is.
like somebody dancing in the background. Round number
I
2.
Round
know.
2.
Yes. Okay, we ready for round 2?
Let's
We're
go.
ready.
Woo!
Okay, well, this is one of not only my favorite Rush songs, but I think this song is so underappreciated. I've said this before. I do not know why they never performed this live. I wish I knew, but Madrigal. Okay? What
Wow.
a beautiful little song. And for those who say that Neil can't write a love song, excuse me. Okay? Just a wonderful song.
I
Okay?
danced to the speed of love at my wedding last
Oh,
month,
God.
so
Oh,
Yes.
Oh,
so
Yes.
nice.
So we got Madrigal. I got Time Stands Still. I like that song.
oh,
Okay?
Great choice.
I like the background vocals. I've always been an Amy Mann fan. I like the song. Should have been a hit. Should have been a hit.
that
Okay?
green screen.
I
Yes.
know, it's so
Yes.
brilliant. So 80s.
Next, I'm gonna do a little shout out to my friend Ben Mink, one of the nicest people in the history of humanity, and I'm going with Losing It. Okay? I think
Oh,
that's another underappreciated song. Okay? And finally, I'm going with Driven because, again, underappreciated. And when you think about it, it's about taking control of your life. It's my turn to drive. It's your life, but you're the driver. Go live your life.
Love it.
Love it. And that opening riff is just
Yes.
such a punch in the face in a good way.
Yes.
Brilliant. All right, I guess I'm up. Loving all these songs so far, but thankfully none of my next four got knocked out. So I'm going to go with, for my second round, Between the Wheels for the Alex Lifeson solo of the century, in my opinion. Get chills every time I hear it. My next song is Cygnus X1 Book 2, Hemispheres, because it's just
Atmosphere.
a masterpiece.
Yay.
Yes, in every way. I mean, that song is so flawless musically and lyrically. I can't even believe that they created that song. It's incredible. My next one is Force 10 because it's the first Rush song I ever heard live. And so and back then the internet wasn't really prolific. And so I got to be surprised and the lights went down and that opening riff came on and I was like, oh,
How beautiful.
yeah, it was so amazing. And then for my fourth song, I'm going to go with the first Rush song I ever heard when I was 14 years old, Natural Science.
Hell yeah.
And I'm just
Yeah.
innocently walking through a friend's house, and that song is coming out from their bedroom. And that was it.
Yep. You know what they say, you never forget your first Rush song.
So true. That moment is burned in my head forever.
Nicely done. Kira, what delights do you have for us?
So many. Now I'm looking at my list going, oh boy, I gotta pick only 8 more songs from this. Good God. Okay.
But you can
First of
do it.
all,
We're
to
counting
anybody
on you.
commenting, there's no wrong answers. All Rush
No,
is great.
no.
Okay. So from Power Windows, this was hard because I love the whole album. Oh my gosh. I picked Mystic Rhythms because that is my favorite song. Biased. But again, I'm thinking like historical Rush in different periods, what was significant for them. And per Alex, and I do mostly agree with him on this, he considers Power Windows or per Getty, I'm sorry, wrong person. Apologies. He considers it the essential blending of the guitar and keyboards, like when the synth era part of Rush, like kind of like met its peak. I think Hold Your Fire fits that a little bit more, but it's more jazzy. But they both represent that peak of Rush synth era. So very, very important song and a very beautiful song too. Very mysterious. I really like that one. Really like the tone that it sets. And then next up, I wanted to represent Roll the Bones. So I'm going to pick Dreamline. Great drive. Great
Yeah.
message. Fun song. Very uplifting. Really enjoy the one. Just kind of reminds you to live life to the fullest, really. Because we're only here for a limited amount of time, as we all know. So there's that. And then from Signals, I'm going to pick Subdivisions, which I know, like, again, like radio-friendly song, very well known, not really a deep cut, but to me, and this, again, this is my opinion, I feel like this is when Neil's writing really transitioned and his music became so much more relatable and provocative. Though, I mean, all of his lyrics are amazing, and the albums and his writing style changed as he got older, right? But I feel like Signals and Subdivision specifically is really when he started kind of writing about the everyday person. And that for me, like, really signals when his lyrics start connecting people. Like, even though I didn't grow up in a suburb, I was bullied and had a hard time making friends. And that song makes me very emotional because I relate to it. So it means a lot to me.
I
And
think a lot
then,
of us relate to. I mean, I was the only Jew in my neighborhood. Hello. I think all of us have been through a period of time where we felt like, conform or be cast out. I just, He articulated the feelings of so many people.
I'm sure.
He did.
I have to tell
It's
you
incredible.
that I saw that school where that video was filmed. I went to Toronto and I like made a special trip to that place. And
Yep.
it was so amazing looking through the window and seeing those hallways where the kids were walking in the
Oh,
video.
yeah.
And I mean, it was just absolutely surreal. But you're so right, Kira. Like, I think, kids today can relate to that, like of this
Yeah.
generation.
Social media
Yeah,
now
exactly.
is like the engineer behind all that.
Yeah.
So there's that song. And then I gotta shout out Snakes and Arrows, because how can you not? And this is because of the roundtable I was on. I'm gonna shout out Armor and Sword.
Nice.
Incredible depth in those lyrics. I highly recommend everyone watch the roundtable on that song. Just 40 minutes of like full, really, really deep philosophy. If you really like analyze the lyrics, it's one of the deepest songs that Neil has ever written. It will really make you question the world a lot. Then so that's some of his best writing ever. One of his best songs. So had to represent Snakes and Arrows. And Snakes and Arrows is a great album. It's a little bit more mellow. One Little Victory is pretty heavy. Clockwork Angel is pretty heavy. So Snakes and Arrows is like kind of nice and mellow, but still very deep.
Definitely, for
Love it.
sure. Fantastic choices, Kira.
Yeah. Love that.
Let's see. Well, starting out my round two, I'm gonna go sex, drugs, and rock and roll with In the Mood. We're gonna start out that. And then I'm gonna follow it up with Cinderella Man. Shout out to my first ever tattoo, which is Cinderella Man lyrics on my ribcage. Followed up with The Trees. This was one of those tracks on like the best of Rush albums that I got on sale for $8 with a Best Buy gift card in like my gum covered purse when I was just a kid, and I was like, one CD, please. And following up with my round, I'm going to go with one of my favorite Rush tracks, as well as I think one of the most historically important songs to exist, Red Sector A. End of round two.
There you go. Tastefully done. I think
Fantastic.
we're doing
Yeah.
pretty good so far. What do you think?
I'm
I think so,
loving
too.
this.
Combination of the old, the new, a few that people haven't thought about in a while, a few that people think about all the time, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're playing along at home and your favorite song is Limelight, fine. Okay? I mean, I don't know about you, but there are some Rush songs that even after I've heard them a bajillion times, I still get something new out of them the next time I hear them because our own lives are changing. The way I experienced a song 10 years ago and the way I experience it now, very different sometimes.
It's so true.
So
For
there it
sure.
is.
Yeah.
So, we ready for your humble servant again?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, speaking of songs we've all heard a million times, Free Will.
Yes.
Okay. I quote that song all the time because people don't realize they have to choose free will. Okay. You really do. It's there, but you gotta choose it. Okay. So that's a very important song to me. Here's another song that's a very important song to me, and that is Finding My Way. Every time I hear those opening chords, I just get the chills. I really do. It takes me back to what it was like watching them as they established themselves, as they started getting a following, watching the audiences cheer and sing along with some of their songs, and historically, with Working Man being the one that everybody played, everybody asked me, well, what's the next song you played? And it was Finding My Way. And people went nuts for it. To this day, people still love that song. Okay, so there's that. My next one's going to be Entre Nous. Okay, because if we're talking love songs,
Absolutely.
seriously, one of the best songs about relationships I've heard in a long time. And finally, for this round, I'm gonna go with Available Light.
Oh my gosh.
I love
Yes.
that song. Okay. It never got the love that I think it deserved. Okay. Am I
No.
the only one that thinks Available Light is just a really good song?
It's
So I'm
absolutely
thinking in
Masterpiece.
brilliant.
that way. Okay. So those are my four.
Love
The
that.
piano. The
Yeah. The
piano is so
vocals.
incredibly beautiful, angelic.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
Love. All right. My goodness. So many good songs makes me just want to get out my record player and blast the Rush all night. So I'm going to go for my round three with Marathon as my first tune because number one, we've been in one for several years now, with COVID and everything else. We're all in a marathon to just cope. And
I don't know if it's me, but you're starting to get very soft again. Maybe it's like my old ears.
is that better?
Yes.
Much better.
Okay. So marathon, because we're all in one. We've been in one for a while now,
Oh, Lordy.
but also because the feeling of playing that song for people, it is unbelievably uplifting. I mean, I thought it was uplifting listening to it, and it is. It's a completely different experience, but playing it and hearing the giant drums at the end and seeing the crowd, it like warms my heart. My second song is also off Power Windows, a very underappreciated song in my opinion, Emotion Detector, for the
Yeah.
vulnerability and the depth and the guitar solo once again, which is just perfect in every way. My third is Presto, because I absolutely love the lyrics and it's so poetic and you can really visualize yourself in the song. It's like a soundscape, I guess I would call it. And then my last one is Out of the Cradle from Vapor Trails
Yeah.
because it just, the riffs in there are great, but it's also very uplifting musically. Like I just feel like I want to get out of my chair when I hear that song. So I had to throw that in there.
Solid.
Underrepresented.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, Kira, bring us into your last four here.
Yay! Just keeps getting harder and harder. Only four. All right, let's talk instrumentals, my friends. Out of all the Russian instrumentals, I'm going with La Via Strangiato. Not only because
Oh
it's like
yeah.
everyone's favorite, but I am a super newbie to guitar. I only know a few chords and some little things. I'm very, very new. I've only been learning for a couple of months. But La Via Strangiato, excuse me, La Via Strangiato really just shows the caliber of musicianship because that song is so incredibly complicated. So, like, they were really advanced beyond their years with that instrumental in terms of their playing ability. And it is one of the most beautiful pieces of music that I've ever heard in my life. There is nothing else in rock music that is like that instrumental. It's hard to describe in words just how incredible La Via Strangiato is. Like it really is. I never liked instrumentals until my dad and my mom played La Via Strangiato for me. And that's when I was like, wow. I was just stunned, speechless. Like it's a hard song. There's even like musicians that like have been playing for years that can't even play it, which really says a lot. So, had to go with that one. How could I
Absolutely.
not?
Brilliant.
Oh, so incredible. Okay. My next one, this is from Test for Echo. Such a great song is Time in Motion. Great
Yeah.
drive, great rhythm. Also, historically, Test for Echo is the first album where Neil came back after being mentored by Freddie Gruber with his new style
Mm,
of drumming, which as a player was really marked a turning point for him. So it's also something like really important to highlight as well. And it's just such a good underrated song. I love the drive and Time and Motion. Absolutely love it. And again, it's a song about connection, you know, trying to find connection like among the threads that bring us together. Great, great song. And then my next one's more of a personal one. Caravan from Clockwork Angels, because I'm obsessed with that song. I think if I had to pick one Rush song, that's my favorite. Though I have many, I think it would be that one. I think that song is just like the whole package. I love heavy music. So the riffs, the lyrics, it gives me absolute chills. That opening does. It's a song that made me a fan personally, and a lot of other people I know as well. And also like the message and about finding like a sense of adventure. I can't stop thinking big. Really is also very inspiring. That's
Fantastic.
three, right?
Yeah.
I got one more.
I think so.
I'm getting so lost in all
I
this
can't count to 4.
Oh, oh my gosh. And then another song from Hold Your Fire. This is another personal favorite is Lock and Key.
Love.
Another deep cut. That song's a
Amazing.
very, very dark song, but I think teaches a very important lesson. So, and also Hold Your Fire is one of my favorite underrated Rush albums. Some people think it's too soft, but will argue, I think, like, as a whole, that's, again, my opinion, that's Neil's best album, like, lyrically. Like, if you look at it from top to bottom, I think. And again, talking about, like, the depth of, like, the human person.
I
Right.
love that. I love that you've chosen stuff from Hold Your Fire because that album means so much to me. And it is, I understand everyone has entitled to their opinion, but it's always hard for me to wrap my head around that people don't like it. It's really hard. I can't really go there because it's so special to me.
No, there are some people, they're just really stuck in their point of view about certain albums. I hear that about the first album all the time. What do you want to listen to that for? Neil wasn't in it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you wouldn't have the band if you didn't have the first
Right.
album.
right.
No
And,
kidding.
Yeah,
it showed their development.
love it.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
I'm going to kick off my last 4 with Spindrift. I think
Nice.
it's a great track off of Snakes and Arrows. And then going to Digital Man, I've worn that song into the grooves of my brain, and it will probably be playing when my body is no longer existing on this planet. Manhattan Project is going to be my 3rd pick. Been playing that one a lot ever since Oppenheimer came out. I don't know, some weird connection. And Bring That Home with Nobody's Hero. That song is just, I think, more prevalent now than ever, and I'll leave it with that. And that leaves us with the
absolutely.
final 2 picks.
Absolutely.
Wow. So we get 2 picks each now, right?
We are going to pick 2 collectively
Oh,
as
collectively.
the
Okay.
group.
Yeah.
So, I personally want to put in a word for closer to the heart, okay? Because that has a message that an awful lot of people in society ought to be paying attention to, don't you think?
100%.
So I would definitely want to put in a word for that. Um, Personally, I'd be putting in a word for the big money. Because if there's one thing that is a problem in our culture, I mean, St. Paul never said money was the root of all evil. That's a misquote. He said the love of money is the root of all evil.
Mm,
Okay. And as Neil so astutely put it, big money got no soul. Okay. I mean, people chasing the big money, and look what it does to them. That's one of the things I think is so unusual about Rush. They were successful, they were big, they made a ton of bucks, and it never changed them.
that is
And I can
amazing.
speak to that. When I was on stage with Geddy during his book tour, he was the same Geddy as he was years ago. I mean, yes, he's gotten older. He's, this, that, these, those. But I'm talking the basic human being. Still really cares about the fans, really cares about his family, really cares about Alex. He cared about Neil. I mean, that was not an act. They were friends. Okay. And you don't see that. I mean, I forgive me for talking too much, but when I saw that interview the other day, and I reacted to it online because I was furious, when Alex was talking about how when Neil died, how a whole bunch of drummers immediately sent tapes like, here's my tape. Can we be? And I'm like, God, have a little self-respect, okay? The man just passed. They were friends for 40 years, and your response is, want to see my tape? No, I don't want to see your tape. I'm not really interested, okay? I take Geddy at his word. If there's no Neil, there's no Rush. End of story. But my point is, these were friends. And the big money never changed that. If anything, they became more charitable, okay?
Yeah.
But can you name me a rock band that has been friends as long as they were, who are still the same family men, the same friends, the same, hey, let's hang out and have a coffee and, let's just kibitz. So yeah, the big money. And Neil was trying to warn people. So I'm thinking in that way.
I 100% agree. I think
Yeah.
that's a great encapsulation of the discography and just the true sentiment to the band. I couldn't think of a better two-song tribute.
So, did you want me to name a couple more, or what did you want me to do? Do you want me to leave? Do you want me to,
I have an honorable mention.
Same here.
If that's okay.
We can do a couple
Honorable
honorable
mention.
mentions.
I got
Yeah.
tons of honorable
All right.
mentions, but go ahead.
Go ahead, Carrie.
I got one. This might be a little controversial. Witch Hunt. Here's why.
Oh,
Not
talk
only-
about a song that could be, oh, yes.
Timeless.
Why, yes. Yes, indeed.
I think right now with everything going on, if Neil was here, I think they would have been playing that song
Oh, yes.
as a warning.
Yes. The whole Fear trilogy is just so apropos in times like these.
Yeah. And
Yes,
I'd
it is.
love to throw one out there too. Second Nature from Hold Your Fire,
Yes.
because I think that message is so needed also, that, it ought to be second nature, for us to be connected. And I've been trying to use our performances as a platform to kind of put that message out there that, take the energy you feel in this room and bring it out into the world. We're all here in the common love of Rush. Let's remember that feeling. It ought to be second nature to us. But somehow we're kind of getting away from that, but we can bring ourselves back. We have the free will to do so.
I see what you did there.
I'd like to put out an honorable mention of Superconductor, just because I can.
Yeah, because that song rocks.
And that's going to be the only duplicate allowed, because I said it is. Well, ladies, again, thank you for sharing this space with me.
Nobody
Thank you
said anything about After Image.
Oh my God.
Oh, well, there were so many that we didn't mention.
Oh my God.
Well, if we've missed any, you can leave them in the comments, interact with us, engagement is key. You can find us on all of our social media accounts linked down in the video description below, as well as our comment section, our previous videos. Check out our 5 previous women's panels. We've had 6 now historically, which is so wild to think about. But thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, ladies, for joining me as well. It's been a blast, and I hope to do it again next time. Again, it's such an honor to share the space. It's such an honor to be a female Rush fan. And love the band, love all of you, and thank you for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.